Welcome back. In the previous step, we wanted to get the details of a specific to do, and we realized we don't really have a service to do that yet. So let's create a service quickly and let's copy this. So I would want to get the details of a specific to do, so I'll add ID in and it's get mapping. That's cool. Get not all to do's, get to do, and I would want another path variable with the ID in. So this is what we would want, comma path variable ID, and over here what we want to do is to do service dot find by ID and get me the specific one with that specific ID. And this would not return a list of to do, it would return a specific to do value back. Isn't this easy? This is cool. Now the server has picked up the change, and let's execute and see if we are able to execute the service. So slash to do's slash 1. Cool. We were able to very quickly implement a service to retrieve the details of a specific to do. Now I would want to call this service. What should we do? Let's go out to our to do service. So to do data service.ts is where we would need to go. What we need to do is we would want to do something very similar to delete to do actually. So I'll copy this, and this is actually a retrieve to do, and what we would want to do is instead of delete, you want to do a get and get to this specific URL. That looks cool. So we have a retrieve to do method ready in the to do data service. Where do we want to make use of it? We want to make use of it in the to do component. So when we are loading the to do, we would want to get the details of the to do. Let's go down to do component.ts. What we want to do in here, we would want to use the service and get the details. So before that, we would need to auto wire it in, use dependency injection. So I'll say private to do service, and this would be to do data service. What do we want to do? We would want to do this dot to do service dot retrieve the to do. We'll continue the tradition of hard coding in 28 minutes, and we will actually use the ID which comes from the service. So the ID is actually coming in as part of the path variables of our application, but we have not really saved it in. So we'll do that. So let's have a ID number in here. We need to get that ID very soon. So for now, let's put 1 in here. So retrieve to do, and actually I would want to put the ID in here. It's giving me a compilation error because I need to say this.id. Now, what do we want to do once I have the data? Once I get the data in, what I want to do is have a to do thing in here. So I'll say to do. So import the to do in, and I would say this.to-do is equal to, first I need to have the data. So I need to say data. Once I have the data, this.to-do is equal to data. You can see that it's complaining. The object is not assignable to the type to do. What I'll do is I'll go to the retrieve to do, and over here in the get, I would need to declare the fact that to do is the data structure to which it can map it to. And now you would see that this would compile fine. So what we are doing is quickly creating the steps needed to be able to initialize the to do. One of the pieces we are missing right now is we have not really initialized the ID yet. Where do we want to get the ID from? We would want to get it from the route parameters. If we look at the welcome.component, we did this already earlier. How do we get it from the route component? So you can see that we have added activated route as a parameter and got the value in this way. So let's look at doing something very similar right now. So private route activated route. Let's add a comma in here to make sure that the compiler is happy. And now you have a activated route imported from Angular/router. That's good. And now I can use the route. So the parameter name in here is ID. So the params is nothing but a map, and from the map I'm picking up something with the key as ID, and that's what becomes this.id. So we are setting the this.id in here. After that, we are calling the retrieve to do service, and as soon as data is available, we are setting it to our local to do. Is that sufficient? Nope. We would need to map our view to this. How do we do that? So we have the description field. How do we map it to the view? Think about it. Yep. Banana in a box, ng modal. We use that in the login page. So I'll say to-do dot description ng modal, and this one would be something similar, to-do dot target date. Isn't this cool? All the concepts that we have learned over the period of last few hours, we are combining all of them and using them to create this to-do form. Now let's see if everything is coming up fine. Now you can see that to-do/1, this is cool. Now this is working fine. Learn to dance to is working fine, but I'm not able to show the target date. And when I look at the log, it says 2018-09 does not conform to the required format YYYY MMDDD. So what it's saying is the format of the date is not really good. What is the reason? The reason is because the service is returning me date in this specific format. In the next step, let's look at how to fix this. But for now, what we have in here is a pretty decent to-dos page, right? I can click update in here, look at that specific update details there. So now I can go back to the to-dos page, click update, learn about microservices. Go and click update again and learn about Angular. That's pretty cool. One of the things which we have been doing over the last few steps is kind of hard coding in 28 minutes. When we get to the authentication section, we'll try and remove all the hard coding and we'll make our application compatible with multiple users. For now, stick with us and I'll see you in the next step. Until then, bye-bye.